Good evening to you all and welcome to Vienna as we start the long and winding road towards South Africa and the FIFA World Cup of 2010. The European qualification campaign opens up tonight and we have Austria against France on our menu. It's Adrian Healy joined by Tommy Smith. And Tommy, both these sides looking to shake off a fairly forgettable experience at Euro 2008 just a couple of months ago.
Yeah, they both would need to do an awful lot better if they've any hopes of winning a World Cup or getting far in the finals. Of course, the main priority at the moment now is to get there, and that could be a bit of a task for one of them. I mean, not sure which of them it'll be. It'll depend on how they come out of the traps today, but you have to figure that France are big favourites.
Yeah, this is Group 7 in Europe. As you can see, Austria's best performance, third place that over half a century ago. France, the 1998 world champions, but Romania and Serbia will surely have a say in who also progresses out of Group 7. Austria feel, though, they have a shot at perhaps finishing in second place. Remember, only the group winners are guaranteed a spot in South Africa. 8 of the second place finishers will have to go through the torture of the playoffs. The long road towards World Cup 2010 just starting tonight in Europe. 642 days until the kick-off in South Africa. The qualification campaign kicks off in Vienna for Austria and France. We'll bring you some news from other games around Europe when we come back. Big night in European football as European qualification for South Africa gets underway. 53 European nations will be battling for a total of 13 spots to represent the continent in South Africa in a tournament that begins in just 642 days. The road begins tonight for France and Austria. Adrian Healy and Tommy Smith to see who can take the early initiative in Group 7 in Europe. Just the pre-match pleasantries taking place. If you want to see some topical football debates in various different languages, well, these are your options. Freire de Juego is on every week on Mondays. Check your local listings for that. ESPN is the place to go. And you can hear regular contributions from the man away to my right, Tommy Smith, on ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass twice a week. Again, your local listings available at ESPNSoccerNet.com.
Mind you, that's one of the nicest things they've been called, contributions.
Well, we'll be making our contribution to the proceedings here, as will the crowd who've come out to see a new beginning for Austria and potentially for France as World Cup qualification gets underway. We'll bring you all the team news and have the first half kickoff next. Benzema on target in France's recent 3-2 win against Sweden. It was a friendly in Stockholm. But this is World Cup qualification. This is where it gets serious. And how ironic for France that it begins for them at the scene where Euro 2008 could have ended. A lot of people expected France to be amongst the front runners, but didn't make it out of the group stages. In fact, they finished with the record no better than their opponents tonight. Austria just 1 point from their 3 games.
Well, when you only get a draw against Romania, you get drubbed by the Netherlands and get soundly beaten by Italy, you're in real trouble. And France have taken a completely different approach now. They're much more accessible in terms of the media. The coach has taken a different line. And all of a sudden, I think they got a lesson taught to them. They went into Euro 2008 and they were a little snobby.
That's Patrice Evra feeding in a useful ball with Sidney Govou trying to get underneath it. Govou scored twice against Sweden in that victory I told you about, but Alex Manninger is there to tidy up. He's back in goal for Austria. The ex-Arsenal keeper who now belongs to Juventus, albeit only on a season-long loan. Ivancic trying to get involved for the first time. Good return pass to Andrius Ivancic. Well, Mark Janko making an immediate impression. The giant striker laying it off there for Ivancic.
Yeah, nice ball, well won in midfield. He controlled it beautifully. He rides off the attempted tackle of Evra and then lays it across into the middle. And, well, this is a position that France in goal. They have a couple of young players now. It'll be interesting to see how they make out. That was a good boost for the keeper today to get a nice save Mandanda just coming out and clearing his line nicely.
Yes, Steve Mandanda of Marseille is the preferred goalkeeping option. Still no way into the squad for Sebastian Frey, rather strangely. Here come France now, and well, Benzema trying his luck from quite a long way out.
Well, we do know he has the capability of shooting from anywhere, and coming down through the middle, this one lashed away to the left, and we'll be looking for Nasri to get involved with Govou and company.
Oh, Raymond Dominic has brought a new assistant on board, Alain Boghossian, the ex-French midfielder from World Cup 1998. Austria and France haven't met in a competitive international since qualifying for World Cup 1994 in the United States. France won by a 1-0 here in Vienna, and by 2-0 in Paris for that matter. But neither side made it to that particular final. Last time the French missed out in '94. Austria haven't qualified since 1998 in France. They feel they have what it takes, Tommy, to push for second spot in the group. That's what they've targeted before a ball's been kicked. And that would give them a playoff route through to South Africa.
Well, it's a sensible approach. I mean, OK, you probably throw out the French and say, OK, everybody else, Serbia, Romania, Lithuania, and the Faroe Islands are, you know, 3 points that can be won. Whether they will or not, they have to go out and do it. But they look like winnable points.
From the back, Sebastian Prodl trying to pick out Janko. But the Salzburg striker just a little bit offside. It's the early exchanges with Lassana Diarra. Diarra again. And for a third time, Diarra of Portsmouth getting involved and winning the ball back in hungry fashion. However, Samir Nasri, who's made such an exciting start to life in North London with Arsenal. Benzema and Nasri combining. Didn't quite come off, but it looked to be a potent combination, that one.
Well, it looked like there was a little bit too much steam on it from Nasri. I mean, this was the man that Sir Alex Ferguson wanted, never really came to grips with getting him.
Karim Benzema, 30 goals last season for Lyon, and already 4 in 4 games this year in the early stages of the Ligue 1 Championship. Remarkable goal-scoring record. And still only 20 years old. Karim Benzema will have fond memories of playing Austria. He scored on his French debut against the Austrians in a friendly in Paris. That was in February of 2007. Now Christian Fuchs trying to hook up with Martin Harnik. The throw-in is the verdict. René Aufhauser getting involved as well. Stranzel's long throw, targeting Janko.
Well, Gallus cut that one out very, very easily.
Well, loose header down, which invited the challenge from Thierry Henry, and it's broken France's way. Henry directing traffic. Pass that just went astray, and Jeremy Toulalan thundering in to win the ball back for the French.
Certainly not for the weak of heart out there at the moment. I mean, the challenges are just, they're flying in. Toulalan, of course, a very, very tough midfielder, very much in the style of Makelele.
Nasri putting his foot in, but there's a bounce that favours the home side. I'll keep you up to date with what's happening around Europe, and what's happening in Cyprus is that Antonio Di Natale has given Italy an early lead. Perfect start for another new coach or returning coach, Marcello Lippi. Ivancic looking to work on Diarra, and the Portsmouth man was forced to bring down Andreas Ivancic, who plays his club football in Greece.
Oh, he just slid right through him. I mean, Trulalana is just... he's awesome in the middle of that field.
Now Ivancic trying to get that cultured left foot of his into action, seeking out the soft spot at the heart of the French defence, and he found it. Austria are in front. The final touch may have come off Janko, but it matters not. What a shocker for the French.
Well, this is a case of, we talked about the free kick being given away when probably he didn't have to give away a free kick, and from the resulting set piece, there's problems for them. Watch this, the big high ball into the middle, and it comes right through. No excuse for that, and the Janko just put a boot onto it. Of all things, nobody got a head to it. Watch this, it bounces through. Well, maybe I'll take that back. Maybe Pogatetz got a touch on the head, but there was very little in it. I mean, the ball is in the air, there's all kinds of players rising for it, but I'll tell you one thing, the ball ends up in the back of the old onion bag. Keeper coming out didn't look very swift on that at all, and certainly the French defence was very much to blame. But what a great goal for Austria.
Well, we'll try and get you confirmation of the official score. It might actually go down as an own goal, we shall see. But as you said, Tommy, Steve Mandanda was left stranded, and there was no degree of certainty in the heart of the French defence as to who was going to take responsibility there.
Not at all. I mean, I would give the goal to the big man, 17. I think he got a touch of his boot on it. But it doesn't matter who gets the touch on it or who got the touch on it. We know that Austria are in front.
Well, whether it goes down to Janko or not, he's made an immediate impact. The giant striker brought in by Karel Bruckner. Now France looking for some sort of instant response. Karim Benzema walking away slowly. This is Nasri now trying to shake off Aufhauser. Everest Cross took a deflection, and Shana had to be careful. Sebastian Prodo was there too. Actually, three centre-backs playing for Austria, with the Premiership pairing of Pogatetz and Shana, Middlesbrough and Wigan, respectively. Loose ball that was always going to be Manninger's. There's so many Arsenal players on the pitch, and ex-Arsenal players from a French perspective, but Manninger has that on his resume too. A shocking start for the French, but they're trying to make amends immediately with Benzema on his way. They'll give and go with Henry. Again, suggestions that those quick exchanges of passes might open up this Austria defence, but not yet.
Well, Pogatetz, he will do a good job of covering behind you, as will Fuchs.
Up goes Henry. Couldn't climb above Grigori Garrix, though. And there's Karel Bruckner, 68 years old. Still with a tremendous appetite for the game. Samir Nasri replacing Florent Malouda was the only change from the French side that beat Sweden just 3 weeks ago in Stockholm. Bakary Sagna winning just his 4th cap tonight for the French. So really impressing with Arsenal. Christian Fuchs there. He's just engineered a move for himself to the German Bundesliga after his displays at Euro 2008. He plays with Bochum now. Well, Ivancic didn't like the decision from Bo Larsen. It's going to be a French free kick. 5 in the box awaiting this delivery. Govou making his run to the near post. It was Benzema who was the target. Toulalan keeping it alive, and again with a second header back into the area, but an offside flag spoiling the pressure.
Yeah, but you could see the difference there for Austria, Adrian. I mean, they came attacking the ball. The defenders came out after the ball. Look at that. They're all coming out in mass. And even if the ball is played back in, okay, there was an offside call on it. On the opposite end, the French never. It was almost like they rose up under the ball. None of them ever got the ball in their sights. And they were all misjudging it.
And Mark Janko was the man to take advantage, still awaiting confirmation whether it's actually his goal. He scored against Italy, Austria's last game, a friendly against Italy, which they drew 2-2. They took a 2-0 lead in that game as well, a game that was actually played in Nice on the French Riviera. We are hearing from some official sources now that Janko is being credited with the goal. We'll try and confirm that for you in concrete fashion when we can. Austria 1, France 0 as the European World Cup qualification gets underway. The French looking to turn over a new leaf after their disappointments of the summer. And a booking. This one's been handed out to Janko, so an eventful start to the game for him.
Well, there's Gallus coming out after him, and Janko just sticks his boot in very, very late. He catches Gallus pretty good here. Look at that. Oh, I'll tell you one thing. There are a few referees around the world who would give you more than a yellow on that one. You could get a red on that one very, very quick. That was very, very dangerous. Speaking about being dangerous, would you like to be in the English dressing room at half-time?
Not particularly.
No, I wonder what Capello was saying in there.
Still 0-0, is it?
Yeah.
England taking on the mighty Andorra. Let's not forget. This is Benzema. Oh, wonderful play from Benzema. Just nicked away from him at the last as he almost lazily drifted into a shooting position.
Yeah, he pulled the ball about a half a yard too far to get back onto it, but no question about his ability to score. I was disappointed in him in Euro 2008. I had picked him to be one of the stars, but he certainly had a very, very tough time.
Yeah, muted displays, rather strangely, but then again, you could say that about a lot of the French squad, really. This is Sidney Govou, who's kept his place. Govou with Henry doing the prompting. Nazari. Now Evra. Oh, it's deflected onto his own crossbar by Sebastian Prodl. A great escape there for Austria.
Well, sometimes you need a little bit of luck. Ever out on the left. Great overlapping play. Look at that, it comes off him. There wasn't a whole lot of danger in either. Well, maybe there was a bit of danger, but...
Oh, more danger now as the corner comes in. That danger very quickly diffused, thanks to Christian Fuchs. So let's have a look at the goal again at track number 17, Mark Janko. There he is, just getting a knee to the ball.
Just a knee, yeah. He said, I need that. That's how he described it to the press. He need that.
Well, it makes you wonder what the last Austrian manager, Josef Hickersberger, was thinking, because he dropped Mark Janko just before Euro 2008. He'd only played 3 times for Austria.
Great work by a production crew to get us that good look.
Well, they're top-notch, aren't they?
That's good.
They don't miss much. And Janko following up his goal against Italy in a game that meant very little. And a goal in a game that means a great deal. You know, France have their work cut out, because there was one thing Austria did do in Euro 2008, Tommy. It was defend tenaciously. They only conceded 3 goals in the tournament.
Yeah, but they're big and strong at the back, and they play the ball very directly. And they're not all that interested. Okay, they will go overlapping if they can. They're certainly not going to be going overlapping now with a 1-0 lead. And it's a tough back line. You could see the difference in the attitude with the back line, with the way the ball was played in one was the goal that was scored against France, and then you could see the next free kick against Austria, how they played it so differently.
Yeah, it's Gavou's turn to flight in the cross, but well, too much on takeoff there, and beyond Samir Nasri.
Like, I would imagine that, you know, if you're going to beat Austria through the back, it's going to be on the ground. You're going to have to use Nasri, and you're going to have to use Benzema and Thierry Henry. I don't think that you can play the ball in the air to them and win.
Now Austria on their way again, but Bakary Sagna determined not to let Christian Fuchs get a clear run in on the French goal. That was some prime defending there by the Arsenal man. Up goes Grigori Galix to win the ball back for Austria. It's broken kindly. The home side on their way, and the cross whipped in rather dangerously. And it's set up invitingly. Why not? Optimistic effort from distance by René Aufhauser. And failed to keep it down.
Well, there's incredible pace to this game so far. Domenic's men, they've struggled quite a bit in many departments of the field, and I think they need to be an awful lot more direct than they are.
Benzema finding Nasri in turn. A little poke through for the run of Thierry Henry, and confident footwork from Alex Manninger. Prepared to control that under a little pressure from Henry. Another score update for you with Lukas Podolski getting Germany on the move against their tiny neighbours Liechtenstein. Lead by a 1-0. Alex Manninger, who's battling for the #1 spot against Jürgen Mako for Austria. Here comes another French attack, successfully repelled. Paul Scharner is the release valve, and now Christian Fuchs. Long ball too. He's seeking out Martin Harnik, but tied it up by Mexes.
Hey, it was a good idea. Let the ball do the running for you.
It's Mexes and Gallas who are very much the established centre-back pairing now for France. And that's another element that's changed from Euro 2008. In fact, Mexes not even making the squad tournament.
And of course, we all know the kind of struggles that Gallas has with Arsenal, and questions about whether he should be captain of Arsenal or not. I think he's taken the flak very well.
A lively start from Austria, continuing as Harnik makes further inroads and wins a corner for the home side. And this crowd excited and energized by the start their side has made. 20 minutes in, a goal to the good, and on the front foot again. Ivanchits. And there is an absolute scrum down in front of Steve Mandana's goal. There's the corner. Mandana got there. Full stretch. Gavou completing the clearance, but everyone was back for the French. Pogatetz had stayed forward. Sidney Gavou had other ideas. Now Diarra in a hurry to get the French kick started. Over to Toulalan, and keeping it on the floor. And how about that for a decisive tackle?
Well, I thought the only way you could beat them was to keep it on the floor, but if you're going to make tackles like that, I don't think you can beat them.
Martin Harnik allowed to progress unchallenged into the penalty area.
you could see he couldn't make up his mind, Adrian, what he wanted to do, and he's getting a little bit of flack from his teammates because there were a couple of them available, and he kind of, I think he was caught between a shot and a pass.
Martin Harnik, who plays in Germany with Werder Bremen. She didn't quite go for a corner. Garrix with the throw. And Gurgiri Garrix cross curling out of play harmlessly.
Watch what happens here. See, everybody's kind of back and back. Nobody really got an angle onto the ball. And as a defender, you can't do that. You have to be coming out. You have to be behind the ball. Watch this. Everybody misjudges it except Janko, who just got enough on it to turn it inside. Look at, just barely turned it in, but he got it in.
Well, Janko has been in terrific goal-scoring form for his club, Austria Salzburg. 7 goals in the first 5 league games in the new Austrian season he scored. Andorra against England is a viewing option for some of you. Check your local listings, coming up later on tonight. But not what the French had scripted for the opening blows in their World Cup campaign this time. They've come up against an Austrian side who look to be re-energized after looking at times a little slovenly at home during Euro 2008.
Yeah, they have a different looking attitude out there. Hungry, and they're playing well. They're using the break very well. They're defending very well. They got the one chance and they put it away. You can't ask any more for a team.
They will continue to be tested. Andrei Shevchenko is back amongst the international goals for the Ukraine. A 90th minute winner from the penalty spot. You're not holding your nerve, Tommy.
You know, we've seen some famous penalty kicks by Shevchenko in situations deep in the game, and well, maybe he will come good again after getting back to AC Milan. He obviously feels very much at home in Milan. That's a big goal. That's a great way to start. I know it's a long way to South Africa, but you get yourself 3 points today, Adrian. It's a great help.
Well, France knew that they would know all about Group 7 through their first 3 games. They play their 3 potentially stiffish rivals first. They follow this up with a game at home against Serbia on Wednesday, and then it's a trip to Romania, and that's why they gave Dominic the first 3 games, in a sense, to really cement his credentials.
It would be a dire situation to be sitting without any points after those first 3 games of Euro France. That's the big thing.
Karel Bruckner has presided over an excellent era in terms of football in the Czech Republic. Perhaps not ending on the high note that he would have wished for. Trying to write a new chapter in Austrian footballing history. Very much the same players were available to his predecessor, Joseph Hickersberger. This is Sanya. Christian Fuchs hunting him down. And now Pogatetz.
Yeah, not alone hunting him down, but he took the ball away from him.
Diarra continuing to fight tooth and nail to win every loose ball back for France. Sanya's cross left a lot to be desired. Gets up and wins the ball back for Govou, though. Toulalan, a pass that went horribly astray, but he's in there to win it back. Toulalan. And it sits up invitingly, and well, the best effort of the night so far for France, coming from captain Thierry Henry.
It comes from a long way out too. It's a mistake. You can't afford to make mistakes like this. You give the ball away in this situation. Great movement from Thierry Henry. He sits the ball up nicely. Toulalan was the man who robbed them and slipped it inside, and Henry just whisked it by the post. Great shooting effort. That's what Henry can do. He can beat you in situations like that. Of course, there'd be no surprises for manager himself and Thierry Henry were together with Arsenal.
Yep, 31 years old now, Thierry Henry. 46 goals in 103 appearances.
That looked dicey for a moment there for the French.
Steve Mandanda out to corral it. A 23-year-old winning just his third cap tonight for France. It's been Gregory Coupé. Now he's had to wrestle out of contention. Patrice Evra. Nice little touch from Benzema. Henry couldn't quite latch on.
Yeah, Austria are making fundamental mistakes here now, which they don't have to make. I mean, they can slow the game down a little bit.
Nasri. A wriggle away from Alfauser. On it goes to Evra. Was there a foul? There was, much to the consternation of Harnik.
Yeah, Evra certainly hasn't gotten up and down as quickly as I thought he might.
Now, what can Nasri do? He looks to pry open the giants of the Austrian defence. Well, there was no prying them open, but the follow-up shot from Toulalan had plenty of sting to it. Deflects away harmlessly. And France have to settle for the corner. Nasri will go across and take this. Benzema out-jumped by Prodel. Diarra underneath the loose ball. Once again, it's heads to the fore. This time, Shana repelling the threat. And now the aerial route just hasn't paid any dividends so far for the French, Tommy.
No, Austria are too strong at the back. There's just no way that you can beat them in the air without total commitment of using your body as well. And the French are really not doing that. They're trying to finesse them. You are not going to finesse this back line of Austria. Anything that's in the air, they're just gobbling it up.
Diarra. On to Govou. One club man, Sidney Govou, his entire career with Lyon. Diarra picking up the pieces. Benzema, also of Lyon, but no way through.
I'll tell you, it takes bravery out there right now to put your foot in here for a loose ball.
Diarra. He's waiting his ball right onto the chest of Govou. It's a stop-start attack, this one, for France. They can't quite find any daylight. It's this well-organised and marshalled Austrian rearguard action. Once again, the home side able to win the ball back fairly comfortably. Stranzel. Mexes was underneath his clearance. Well, bring you some other scores from around Europe tonight as the games continue. And look at that, great start for Italy, but not so good now. Cyprus have the equaliser. Aloneftis has scored 1-1.
Well, I'm a little bit surprised with that. I thought when Italy got the early lead, although on press pass, if you were watching it, I did feel that Cyprus could squeak themselves a draw, but I didn't think that they would come back. I thought they would have to get out in front.
Well, it's France trying to come back here, but Benzema.
Look at those tackles. This is just unbelievable.
Yeah, the likes of Aufhauser and Brodel have really excelled in the tackle.
Where has Nasri been? Is he out there at all?
Sanya arriving on the overlap. Cross dealt with by Garrix, and all of a sudden Martin Harnik is on his way. Needed Toulalan to come across and put out the fire.
Well, Toulalan is a very good fireman, let me tell you. He will put out a lot of fires.
And a flick from Yanko. And then the giant striker goes down. Already a goal and a yellow card to his name for his night's work, and now a sharp blow to the head.
Everett catches him. The home crowd are not very happy that the referee is not taking a look at it, and he should. I mean, that is a blatant elbow to the side of the head. There's no excuse. Watch. Yeah, he caught him right in the side of the head, and it was fairly obvious that he knew that he was in the vicinity. I'm not sure how the referee said, I know it was an accident.
Mark Yanko, who notched his second international goal in the 8th minute. Not too bad a tally so far to have in your relatively young international career, is it? Goals against Italy and France. That's exactly what he has in the space of 3 weeks.
The only problem is, where do you go from here?
Carol Bruckner must be delighted. He's brought the Austria Salzburg striker back into the fold. It was a mystifying decision that Josef Hickersberger couldn't find room for him, but there are plenty of mystifying decisions on the other side of the ball in terms of Euro 2008 selection. France trying to turn over a new leaf, but under severe examination again, and Mandanda answering the call this time.
Oh, that was good goalkeeping.
Getting in ahead of Paul Scharner, the Wigan man.
Watch this. Good ball, whipped right in across. Beautiful position, just on the edge of the 6-yard box. Swings it in. The keeper comes out and does very, very well. There's no question about it.
Well, Paul Scharner, you know, Tommy, is another man who missed Euro 2008. In fact, missed the last 2 years. He was banished from the Austrian squad for disagreeing with former coach Hickersberger.
Well, there's no disagreeing with me that was a good save by the keeper. He took it well. And Scharner got nailed at the same time.
He's just starting his 4th season with Wigan Athletic, his 3rd in the Premier League. This is Toulalan. Mexes and Gallas trying to reset for France. 10 minutes remaining in the first half, and they trail in Vienna by a goal to 0.
Certainly looked like it was an Austrian ball.
Bakary Sagna with Nasri underneath his cross, and Nasri, as you've said, Tommy, has struggled to impose himself on the proceedings.
Not at the races.
That was the only change that Raymond Domenech made to bring Nasri in for Florent Malouda on this left-hand side. Now Nasri, chance to go to work again, drifting infield, heading for the penalty area. That was better from Nasri, and almost a spectacular turn from Thierry Henry.
Well, at least the French starting to get in. This is how I figured they could beat them, Adrian. Run at the defenders, force them to make mistakes. Would have been a sensational strike. Little bit tough touch by Henry. He pulls it down. It would have been fantastic. The defenders don't react to it as quick as Henry did, but the keeper realised the danger and he saved the day.
He sense is going to take something like that to pry open this Austrian defence, Tommy.
Well, if you're Austria now, you want to get at the half-time. You want to get into the dressing room 1-0 up. And then, you know, figure out what you're going to do in the second half. Probably more of the same as what you did here in the first half.
Well, this is a latest score from Group 7, and another surprise with Romania trailing now to Lithuania at home. Manius Stankovičius has got the goal. So the favourites before a ball was kicked probably in the group, France and Romania, both trailing in their group openers.
Yeah, this group could have a strange look to it by the time next Wednesday night is over. But there's a long way to go yet.
Well, France continue to persevere on the right-hand side with Sanya and Govou conspiring. It's fallen for Benzema. And he was going for goal himself from an acute angle rather than trying to tee up Henry and Nasri, who were waiting. Henry beaten to the punch by Prodel. Fair challenge, though, wins it back for France. The through ball asking too much of Benzema.
Well, I think whatever breaks us in this game, France are getting them. I don't think that was a fair tackle. I don't think it was a fair tackle at all. Let's see. Here's the challenge here. That's not a fair tackle. The ball's long gone.
That was Martin Harnik, the Werder Bremen man, who was the victim, winning his 13th cap tonight. He's only 21 years old. Look at the Austrian bench behind Karel Bruckner. Austria have traditionally done very well in World Cup qualifying opening games. They've won 10 of 15 they've played in their country's history. They've lost only twice. And qualifying for Germany 2006, their first game was against England, and they got a 2-2 draw here in Vienna.
Remember the last set piece in a situation like this?
Has a familiar air about it, doesn't it?
The French hope it won't be too familiar.
Well, Ivanchits hooked up with Yanko last time. Can they repeat the trick? Ivanchits putting it in the same spot, and it might fall yet. It has! Austria have doubled their advantage, and it's Alfhauser who delivers the second goal for the home country.
What did I tell you?
Lightning striking twice.
Well, this is even more horrible defending than the previous time. Look at that. I mean, there are players standing around watching, and the ball, okay, it's scuffed into the net eventually, but watch how many players in blue shirts stop and have absolutely no responsibility. They're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything. Watch. Look at. You can't turn around. There's three players turn around and look at the ball. Gallas is the man who attempts to play the ball, but the ball ends up on the back of the net. Affenhauser.
Well, they can scarcely believe it. I wonder what that man is thinking. 2 free kicks and 2 almost identical end results. But you're so right, Tommy. It seemed as though only William Gallas amongst the French defenders was actually trying to defend there.
Yeah, everybody's standing looking at the ball. You can't turn off on set pieces like that. If you do, you're going to suffer the consequences, and that's exactly what happened to France. Govou certainly was one of the guilty party. There's no doubt about that. He's standing looking up at the ball. And Toulalan was also guilty.
Astonishing first half in Vienna. Austria haven't beaten France since 1970.
And here I was saying they were thinking about getting to the dressing room 1-0 up. This is complete heaven.
Well, there'll be an inquisition no matter what, and the manner in which the French have defended set pieces in this first half. There was some concern in that area following the victory against Sweden. Both goals they conceded in Stockholm were of a similar nature. And Austria may not be done yet in the first half. Toulalan making sure that nothing came of that movement and trying to set France on his way now is Thierry Henry, shrugging off one challenge, but did he do more than shrug? Nasri not allowed to shoot, and then the ball left Patrice Evra in an unfavourable position, and Evra was forced to foul. And now Klaus Bo Larsen going back to check on the man in the middle, and a yellow card is coming out. Aufhauser.
What's he doing? He put the yellow card away again.
Well, Nasri is also hurt for France.
A referee doesn't know what to do.
He's got a yellow card out. He wants to show it to someone.
He's not going to show it to anybody. Put it away again, I bet. He was going to give the Austrian player a yellow card for diving, obviously, because he attempted to tackle Thierry Henry and he ended up injured. So the only way you could give him a yellow card was if you felt he was diving. So he changed his mind, brought tears to his eye.
Must be tears of joy for Garel Bruckner after these moments. That's the second goal. And
I would be given that as probably... I would give it to the Austrian because the ball was on his way towards the goal. I wouldn't blame Gallas for an own goal there. Beautiful delivery, but on the free kicks, aren't they? Janko's complaining he wants a penalty kick. Forget about it, son. The ball's already in the net.
René Aufhauser's 12th international goal. And he has been booked, Tommy. How do you explain this?
I'm saying he booked him for diving. That's the only reason he could have booked him. This referee is not having a great day.
Well, the boos are circling the Ernst Happel Stadion in Austria. It's just a slightly bitter taste to what has been a very sweet first half for Austria, but France looking for a sting in the tail here with Benzema, and the header down was maybe going just wide from Henry, but Manninger made sure.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do now if you're Austria is you don't want to give up a goal at this stage. It does break the Benzema, plays it well, swings it into the middle. Here's Henry coming. He's just inside of the penalty spot. Good downward header. I think you're right. I think the ball was going wide, but hey, if you're the keeper, you can't take a chance. Oh, maybe it wasn't.
No, Manninger couldn't afford to take any chances. Austria had a 2-0 lead against Italy just 3 weeks ago and let that slip. The Italians came back to draw 2-2 in the second half.
It's a good header.
Well, that was a relatively meaningless international friendly. This is with World Cup qualification points on the line. Oh, Janko looking around in pleading fashion, but those pleas ignored. Govou. There's a wrestle, a possession away from Stranzel. Govou's cross by Nasri. On it goes to Henry. Benzema. And once again, The Austrian defence just refusing to buckle. Now Toulalan has won the ball back. Poor clearance, straight to Henry. But Manninger with a fairly comfortable save down low to his left.
Well, a little flurry here by France brought about because Austria are making fundamental mistakes. They're not winning the challenges anymore. Look at this. I mean, they're very lucky. You get the chance to clear the ball out of there. The one man you don't hit it on the edge of the box is Thierry Henry, but that's exactly what happened, and he tried to guide it in on that back post. But a good save, but a good little spell for the French.
It's almost as though that yellow card handed out to René Alfhauser has just disturbed the Austrians' concentration, and France trying to exploit it, but they've only got about another 30 seconds of stoppage time at the end of this first half. And it'll be a most interesting half-time dressing room for the French. What does Raymond Domenech do now? Well, he's got the opportunity to do something because half-time has arrived, and Austria, through Mark Janko and René Alfhauser, have fashioned themselves a most unlikely 2-goal lead here. An eerie similarity to the manner in which both goals arrived, both from free kicks delivered by Ivanchits, both of them causing untold panic at the heart of the French defence. So far, so good for the Austrians in Vienna. Austria 2, France 0 is our half-time score. We'll be back with more after these words. Back at the Ernst Happel Stadium in Vienna as World Cup qualifying gets underway in Europe. Austria are leading France by 2-0 after 45 minutes. Adrian Healy with Tommy Smith alongside. Have a look back at the first half highlights for you now with Tommy Smith talking you through the key moments of the first half.
Well, 9 minutes into this, when a free kick drops inside of the box, and all of a sudden, well, you be the judge. I think the goal should go to Janko. They're saying that maybe Max's was an own goal, but hey, give it to the big man. Bad defending here. The French never really came to terms with the defending of this set piece. And then how about deja vu all over again? Ball dropped into the box. French never come to terms with it. And Gallus gets the ball knocked in off him. Offenhauser, René pushing. It was a scrappy goal, but it gives Austria a 2-0 lead. And that's all that counts, Adrian.
And neither goals were exactly works of art, were they, Tommy? But that will matter not one jot to Austria, as Alfhauser was on hand.
I like those jots.
Alfhauser has a habit of popping up with big goals for his country. That was his 12th for Austria. And now it presents France with a real challenge. Can they mount a comeback in the second half? Well, we're about to find out. That's next on ESPN. Welcome back to Vienna. This is the Ernst Happel Stadium. You're watching World Cup qualifying action getting underway in Europe here on ESPN. And Austria providing France with plenty to think about. It's only 6 years since French were the reigning world and European champions. A long time ago, that seems now. Failing to really cover themselves in any glory at all this summer, Euro 2008. Austria as the host nation. Well, they performed admirably at times, but bowed out of the competition early, but now looking to get back to the World Cup finals for the first time in 12 years. And Tommy Smith alongside me, Adrian Healy. Tommy, it was a first half which couldn't have gone much worse for the French, conceding 2 goals in almost identical fashion. And now with plenty of work to do if their campaign is not to get off to the worst possible start. Well, tonight, check your local listings for this one. England making the trip to Barcelona, actually, to take on Andorra. That's Group 6 getting underway for Fabio Capello and England. ESPN Soccernet.com, the place to go. through the times and details wherever you're watching around the world. But what now for France, Tommy? Raymond Domenech has had 15 minutes to try and get things right. Is that long enough?
No, I don't think so. But I think he's got to do something with Nasri. He's got to do something with Govou. Nothing coming out of midfield really for them. I mean, okay, it's fine to say Toulanan and Diarra are good defensive midfielders, but right now they need somebody to prompt this attack, and they need somebody to be able to get the ball to Henry and Benzema. Neither, I mean, the only one who's looked like a man out there who can score or play well is Henry. The rest of the French coming through midfield have done very little, and I know that it's a tenacious Austrian defence. I mean, they're playing very well. That back four for Austria are very, very tough.
Well, it went perfectly according to the formula that they would have tried to apply in practice leading up to this game, defending tightly, resolutely, making the most of the set-piece opportunities that came their way, which they certainly did. They also look menacing on the counter-attack, though. Particularly down the flanks, did Austria with Harnik and Fuchs heavily involved. The onus now on the French to try and dictate the terms and the tempo of the second half, which is underway. Austria going from right to left. Can Les Bleus redeem themselves? Well, not particularly auspicious start. They've conceded another free kick just outside the penalty area. There's Raymond Domenech with his new assistant. I was telling you about Alain Bourgossian.
Well, there's a feeling that maybe he is the man who's going to take the job. I mean, Bourgossian, a very, very tough defensive midfielder, good player, and as Domenech himself said, he wasn't taken in to be a clown. I'm not sure where that came from. I would never have expected Bourgossian to be a clown.
Some of the defending may have been a little clown-like in the first half. Here's another free kick for the Austrians this time, though. Fuchs right into the wall. And Nasri is the release valve. Nasri, the first name that sprung to Tommy's mind when it came to what France might do a little differently. Saw that one run he made into the penalty area. This is his opposite number, Sidney Govou. Might yet fall for him, and it does. Worrying moment for the Austrian defence. They've got it away for now. They have a player down, and in fact France will have to hold it up.
Well, you're going to see what happens here. Coming in, getting up very, very high, and he caught him in the midsection. Fuchs.
Christian Fuchs, who was sent off in his last game for Bochum prior to this international break. I mean, just made the move to the German Bundesliga. Sidney Govou, who reached 250 appearances for Lyon in his last club outing. The magic spray coming out, and France will get the ball back, but have to rebuild in terms of their attacking intentions. To tidy up that first goal for you. It is now officially being credited as a Philip Mex's own goal rather than Mark Janko, but withholding.
This work is a painting that's
role in the goal was much more defined than Mex's. I think they should give it to the two Austrian players.
Shana wriggling away from congestion. Thierry Henry hobbling away from a prior challenge. This is what caused Henry the consternation.
Yeah, I think Austria have been a little bit too fancy here. That's a good challenge. Just put the boot on the ball. Don't give the French a chance.
which they have here. Gavou just failing to link with Benzema, and well, that's been the story. Those quick-fire passes have come close to releasing Benzema, but close isn't close enough.
Yeah, the Austrians need to just keep the ball up the other end of the field for a little while, take the pressure off. You work this now and you get it to 60 minutes with the same score. Then you try to get it to 75 minutes.
Henry. Now Gavou. Benzema making his run. This time he's free. Benzema! Palmed away by Maniga, but it's still there for Nasri. He's swarmed upon.
Oh, he messed it up. It was a great shot by Benzema. It was a great save by the keeper. Watch the nice ball. Beautiful ball into space. Benzema takes it so well. Look at the shot he unleashes. And Nasri never really controlled the ball and then just give it away. But a great ball across. Benzema. He's got a wicked shot, hasn't he?
He's been one of the hottest strikers in Europe for the last 12 months. In fact, even a little beyond that, carrying Benzema. You mentioned Manchester United's interest in him, but he committed to Lyon and staying with that club, who's won 7 consecutive titles in France. Now William Gallas and Bakary Sagna trying to halt the progress of Christian Fuchs.
Well, now is your time. Take it easy. This is a good challenge. You get your man and you get the ball, but you get the ball first. That's the key.
Schana forced to head back to Sebastian Prodl. The Austrians had the basis for perhaps a successful generation of players. Prodl, one of the under-20 players who reached the under-20 World Cup semi-finals in Canada the summer before last.
This is exactly what they needed. Bit of possession. Keep the ball down at the French end of the field.
Fuchs with the towering target of Janko to aim for. Goes beyond Janko, though. Oh, Mexes was felled on the edge of the area, but advantage play because Nasri is herring into space. Henry, no advantage there after Martin Harnik chopped him down. And it's a foul that allows Austria to recover after they had a couple of defenders stranded upfield. Alex Maniga trying to get things organised in front of him. Nasri just rolled it to the path of Benzema. Not even a corner for France, thanks to Alex Maniga.
Superb balance.
Of Austrian substitutes warming up. That's Joachim Standfest you're looking at. Nasri. Whole width of the pitch to find Sidney Gavou. Henry couldn't perform any miracles this time inside the penalty area. Ivanchitz and Harnik working at full tilt and try and find a way forward for Austria. Harnik again. In a crowd. Very neat and tidy football.
Yeah, just when it looks like they're going to overrun it, somebody appears as an outlet. Referee's not making too many friends here.
Diarra to Bakary Sagna. Now Govou just trying to turn the corner on Stranzel, but no joy for Sidney Govou.
Well, he's trying to impose himself in the second half here. He's done a better job than the first half.
Sidney Govou enjoyed his last outing for France. 2 goals for him. That friendly win against Sweden. Up goes Janko. And Austria have won themselves a free kick. Fuchs is in a fair degree of pain.
His back.
He's holding his back after the collision with Sagna. Now, are the French defence thinking, oh no, not again? It's a free kick from a different spot on the field, but the same man about to deliver, Ivanchitz. Bending it in, and Janko got up there to meet it. Claiming he was having his shirt held, but...
Well, the fact that he won the ball has to be a problem for the French. And yeah, he was having his shirt. Mex has had a pretty good grip of him.
Mex is losing Janko there. Mark Janko might be disappointed he couldn't direct that on target.
He had him at arm's length, the length of the shirt.
Ten minutes into the second half, still no inroads into this deficit for France. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of variation to their approach so far in the second half, Tommy, but they have an avenue here with Govou. Actually, it was Patrice Evra, and his efforts win a corner for France.
Oh, that's a grip. That is a penalty kick. That is a penalty kick. He's right.
It seemed as though Mexes was never confident that he was going to be able to stay with Janko. You're watching a road to South Africa in 2010 begin tonight in Europe on ESPN. We're at the Ernst Happel Stadium in Vienna. It's some sweet Viennese music for the Austrians so far, who lead by 2-0. Adrian Healy with Tommy Smith alongside to see if the French can yet mount any sort of resistance.
Well, Israel were 2-0 behind against Switzerland, but they managed to pull it back and get a draw, so who knows, there's still hope for the French.
Sidney Govou, a little step over move from Nasri didn't quite work. It might fall yet for Nasri. Little touch for himself, but Pogatet's there to smother the ball. And another attack peters out for France. And another side in some trouble, Tommy, were Romania. Last we heard, they were trailing at home to Lithuania in this Group 7 by 2-0. Good look at Raymond Domenech, who was given what many felt was an unlikely stay of execution over the summer by the French Footballing Federation. Deciding to retain his services, but with rather worrying free game proviso written into that retaining. Is Austria on the move again? Jersey tug was spotted that time.
Yeah, see, that's one of the problems I have with that jersey tug, Adrian, is when it happens out in midfield, there's no question about it being a free kick. When it happens in the box, rarely do you see a player get a penalty kick out of it. If it's a foul in midfield, it's a foul in the box. It doesn't make any difference.
Well, this time it has gone Austria's way. Paul Scharner wrestled to the ground by Lassana Diarra.
Yeah, he just keeps the hand on the shoulder.
Stranzel down the line. Ivancic with Gallas tracking him down. William Gallas winning that duel and releasing Sanya. Sanya getting it back, and now Diarra taking over. I can tell you that other game in Group 7 has now astonishingly finished. Romania 0, Lithuania 3. Well, that really puts a whole different perspective already on this Group 7, Tommy.
Oh, it certainly does, and you know, poor Faroe Islands give up a known goal, and they're 1-0 down to Serbia. I mean, you would have expected Serbia to be fit to push on. That's the 90th minute. I mean, Serbia at home, the Faroe Islands holding them 1-0 on an own goal. I mean, Group B or Group 8 is very intriguing now because Montenegro and Bulgaria drew. So Ireland get the win, Montenegro and Bulgaria draw, and Cyprus and Italy are still a draw.
And certainly the heavyweights not having things their own way in Europe, as Nasri tries to get France back in the game. Promising for Gavou, and Sidney Gavou finds the back of the net. Finally, this Austrian resistance has ended, and Gavou grabs a lifeline for Raymond Domenech.
Well, I said you tried to get it to 60 minutes without giving up the score. The one man who looked like he might score was Gavou. He's played very well, and just picks his spot and he bulges the old onion bag. I mean, he got himself back onside. There'll be a question or two about the way he did, but there was no question about the way he slapped the ball into the back of the net. You know, you allow the ball to sit around inside for such a long time, it's going to beat you. Prodal allowed him far too much time on the ball, and Evra coming forward. They were the two men that you figured were playing well enough for France.
Evra, certainly the architect, and a whole different complexion now. Just under half an hour to go, and France right back in it, thanks to Sidney Gavou and his 10th international goal. Gregory Garrix, part of that Austrian defence, who'd held firm and steady up to that point, but Garrix was beaten by Evra in the build-up to the goal.
Hey, New Zealand got themselves a good result. 3-1 over New Caledonia. Sigmund and Smelts. Smelts getting a pair.
And that's the result that guarantees the Kiwis at least a playoff against an Asian side, as France look to capitalise on the momentum turning firmly in their direction now. And Nasri was on the end of this move.
And I have to congratulate, there's one team that got a good result after I look at this one. Fiji get a 2-0 victory. I know we have many fans down in Fiji that love to watch and love to send us emails and everything else for press pass, but what a great result for them.
We'll keep you up to date with all the other scores as they continue to unfold. Sense the scoring is far from finished in this one yet, as France Getting a real stranglehold on proceedings.
Yeah, the question is now, can, well, Germany certainly not holding on, but can Austria hold on here, Adrian?
It was 1-0 to Germany at half-time, 4-0 now into the second half. And look at that for a final score. Lithuania have upended the Romanians at home by 3-0. Simply astonishing. Now Diarra, enterprising approach work, releasing Henry. Henry taking on his man. And Progel sticking gamely to the task. Corner kick for the French, their 5th of the game. Austria have managed just 1. Nasri. And a fierce drive back off the underside of the bar. And the follow-up shot was from Gallas, who was at an offside position. But, well, Manigat, seeing this thunderbolt whiz past him.
Well, he may have even got a fingertip to it. He may have helped it onto the bar. Yeah, he did. That's a brilliant save. Absolutely brilliant save. Thunderous shot from way outside. Manager just put the fingertips onto it, and he put it up on the 90. I mean, that is a spectacular shot, and that is a spectacular save. Look at the rip of it, Adrian, from about 30 yards out. He sees it all the way.
Jeremy Toulalan denied what would have been an absolutely spectacular equaliser. And now at the other end, this.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you could find the Austrian guilty, but I wouldn't find anybody guilty. Just play on, take a goal kick.
It was Christian Fuchs who was stymied. End-to-end stuff at the moment as France are really threatening to hit their stride. Re-energised by the goal from Sidney Govou. And now with another corner to work with.
The face of intensity.
William Gallas arriving late. Now Bakary Sagna taking it on. And all of a sudden Austria, who looked a little sharper, a little hungrier in the first half, looking second best at the moment.
Yeah, they've been tiring a little bit. Austria's tiring a little bit.
We do need to correct for you a score that was wrong earlier. We were actually giving you the half-time score, which was 0-0. Full-time finished 2-1 in Slovakia's favourite. So Northern Ireland going down to defeat in their opening game of World Cup qualifying. (2-1) in Slovakia, 2-1 in Vienna. To the final quarter of the match now. And the French tide is rising. The question is, Tommy, is it high tide or is there still more to come? Well, they've given the ball away. And Fuchs is thundering forward and he's very close to getting round Diarra. Diarra had to make that challenge, and he got there in time.
Well, Fuchs got a lot of speed on that left wing and is not afraid to use it. He loves to run at you.
Ivancic, a real box of tricks at times with his left foot, and he's found some space.
Oh, he got cleaned out.
Toulalan arriving with the shoulder. And Austria have won it back. This is René Aufhauser. Working against Sagna. Aufhauser, though, presenting some catching practice for Steve Mandanda.
Half a scoop. Yeah, it wasn't quite shoulder to shoulder, but I suppose it would have been harsh to call it. You know what he wants, don't you?
Yet the distinct feeling that Alex Manninger's night is far from over yet.
Well, he's made a couple of key saves, hasn't he? Henry wins himself a very cheap free kick here.
Now, this is the exact spot on the pitch where Austria came to flourish in the first half. 2 free kicks delivered by the left foot of Ivanchits. What will the French recipe be? Well, that's the right foot of Toulalan. He was seeking out Philippe Mexes, but a little bit of pushing and shoving. I'm sure Karel Bruckner needs no reminding that his last international game in charge of the Czech Republic saw them have a 2-goal lead, which evaporated against Turkey in that never-to-be-forgotten game at Euro 2008. His Austria side here in Vienna had a 2-goal lead.
Well, Everest complained that he was pushed in the back, but he knocked the ball out for a corner kick, and the whistle never went. I mean, this is a juncture of the game now where Austria need possession. They need to take the wind out of the sails of the French because they're flying. The French are just getting a head of steam going now, Adrian.
And the first switch of the game coming with 20 minutes to go. And it's an interesting one. Yoann Gourcuff is coming on for France to replace Bakary Sagna. Gourcuff back in the international setup, winning just his 2nd cap tonight, to making his debut against Sweden. So it's a defender off and a midfielder on as France face this corner and the towering targets to aim for Austria. Now Janko went down, and has the referee given a penalty? He has. Mark Janko was on the floor. Time seemed to stand still, but Klaus Bo Larsen didn't hesitate. He pointed to the spot.
Oh, it's a rugby tackle by Mexes. Look at, I mean, how can you not give a penalty kick? A foul inside of the box, you know, they're fouls outside of the box, folks. They're fouls inside of the box. And Mexes, look at this. I mean, he pulled him down. How can you even complain? And don't tell me, well, you had no chance of getting to the ball. That has absolutely nothing got to do with it. It's a penalty kick, and that's the long and the short of it.
Well, maybe there should have been one earlier with the same players tangling, but now Austria have their chance to make it 3-1, and they do! Ivanchits, the captain, delivers from 12 yards out, and Austria are on the verge of a historic win.
Well, I said they needed a spell of possession. Little did I know that it was going to result in a goal. Well struck penalty kick. Keeper goes the wrong way and he just tucks it into the old onion bag. What a beautiful strike. A lot of pressure on. This is the difference. I mean, 1 goal for the last 15 minutes lead was going to be hard to hold on to. 2 goals makes it a whole heap easier, folks.
It was a penalty kick which provided Austria's only goal of Euro 2008. But Andreas Ivanchits following up his architect's role for Austria's first 2 goals from free kicks with one of his own from the penalty spot. And really, France can have no great complaints. Perhaps lucky to get away with it earlier on was Philippe Mexes, Tommy, when he almost ripped the shirt off Janko.
Yeah, I thought he should have been called. He should have known better. I mean, the referee had to have been told or had to be aware that he missed an opportunity to call a penalty kick earlier, and then you don't come along and you don't give him the opportunity a second time.
And France have to begin building the road to recovery all over again. The only trouble is they now have just 17 minutes to get there. Well, they're setting about their business with real intent. And have immediately won a corner.
Well, as a team that scored, you just have to be aware how many teams give up goals immediately after the score. You don't want to let the French back into it now. You have their foot on the throat. You've got to keep it there.
The corner dispatched by Martin Harnik. Now Gorkuf getting involved for the first time since his introduction. What a moment for him to come on. He came on literally as the corner was coming in that led to this penalty.
You wonder how anybody ever misses them when you see them hit like that, don't you?
Andrius Ivancic likes playing the piano in his spare time. Well, he'll be singing his tune tonight for sure in Vienna. Seventh international goal for the Austrian captain. Garrick's clearing.
Didn't go to touch. Looked like it was going to.
Do France still believe that they can get something out of this game? Belief was certainly not a problem as they got back into it at 2-1. And were it not for the fingertips of Manninger, let's not forget, would have had that equaliser.
Yeah, but you can't give up 3 goals on set pieces. And I know, okay, it's very easy to say. I'm not talking about the set piece from the penalty kick. I'm talking about the set piece from the corner kick. And, okay, Evra might have had his shout. Maybe he did get a touch in the back. But you give up the corner kick. Those defenders in there didn't play well on set pieces.
Pogatet's making a meal of the cross. Govou retrieving it. Now Diarra is hoisting into the air. Gorkuf underneath it. Different shape now for France with Gorkuf on and Sagna off. Toulalan onto Govou. Some hesitation from Pogatet, but he allowed the ball to drop. Sidney Govou turning the corner very sharply. Teeing up Benzema. Nasri. Into a forest of red shirts went the shot.
Well, you know, I've been asking questions about Nasri, and okay, he has the ability to become a great player. Is he up to this role right now? I'm not sure. There will be a few questions asked in the French media after his outing today. He hasn't looked the part at all today. Dominic has to have serious reservations about Nasri on that left again. He hasn't done the job today.
Stranzel's long free kick. What an atmosphere inside the Ernst Happel Stadium.
It's amazing what a goal does, isn't it?
And the Austrian fans who saw their side score just once over 3 games as co-hosts of Euro 2008 treated to a very different sort of spectacle tonight. Fuchs getting the return pass and round the challenge of Gallas. Couldn't elevate the cross up and over Mandanda though.
He's got such good wheels, hasn't he? I mean, he's not afraid to take you on. He just went around Gallas.
Now Henry. Oh, Gorkuf had made his run. Henry couldn't squeeze it into his path.
Henry hasn't been in the game in the second half. I mean, he had a good first half. He played well. Second half, a lot to be desired.
Here's Nasri once more, winning his 13th cap tonight. fizzed an effort just over the top.
I'll show Tommy Smith how good I am in the second half. Pulls on this one just outside of the box, but fizzes it over the top. Real barn burner going on between Japan and Bahrain. 3-2 in favour of Japan. And Qatar are leading 1-0 over Uzbekistan.
Well, meanwhile, Nicolas Anelka is asked to come on and save the day for the French, and it's Nasri who makes way. No great surprises for you, Tommy.
No, I didn't think that he played well. Just looking at that Bahrain score, amazingly, to go down a man, they're down 3 goals, and then they fight their way back into it. Score 2 goals down a man.
Oh, the French fight continues, but the sands of time starting to slip away for them. They need some sort of foothold in a hurry. This is Anelka getting his first touch of the ball.
The clock right now is their biggest enemy.
Benzema dropping deeper, trying to provide a focal point for the French attack. Now Nicolas Anelka. Doesn't have a fantastic international goal-scoring record, Anelka, just 10 goals in 51 appearances for his country. And he's picked out Cavu. Diarra's service. Again, the Austrian heads going up and winning the duels.
And speaking about going down a man, Adrian, Paraguay scored on an own goal, but Ainse Tevez was sent off, but that young man who you admired so much at the Olympics, Aguera, scored on the 60-minute mark. So Argentina are level. He is some player, isn't he?
Yeah, Kun Aguero, really already a superstar in the making, and well, a superstar's reception reserved here for Andreas Ivancic, who makes way, the captain, for Christoph Leitgeb.
Well, the way he played today, he deserved that round of applause coming off.
Well, Leitgeb will have to get involved defensively immediately, because free kick conceded by Aufhauser in potentially a damaging position for Austria. It's Johan Gourcuff, one of the French substitutes, standing over it. Now back in France, playing with Bordeaux after his ill-fated spell with Milan. Gourcuff only made his debut against Sweden last month. Now can he tee something up here? Gourcuff can't get it done, but it's fallen invitingly for a long-range effort from Toulalan.
Well, it certainly was a long-range effort that wasn't of much note. Watch as he hits it.
He couldn't repeat the trick of a few minutes ago, Tommy, when he produced that stupendous save from Manninger. Austria edging ever closer to their first victory over France in nearly 38 years. France in qualifying for the 2006 World Cup in Germany went undefeated in their qualifying group. They were in a really tight qualifying group last time out with Israel, Ireland and Switzerland. To start with a defeat here in Vienna, be almost unthinkable. Toulalan. He tried to slide it into the run of Nicolas Anelka. Again, though, that door very quickly snapped shut. A new era beginning for France. It wasn't supposed to be like this with Liliane Thuram and Claude Makélélé retired. You know, Willy Sagnol, Francois Clerc, Franck Ribéry, Patrick Vieira all out due to injury.
The one man there, you mentioned the magic name, didn't you? I mean, Ribéry's influence on this game was sadly missed today. I mean, France didn't have anybody to control the ball and run at the defenders, which was needed, because there was no way you were going to beat Austria playing the ball into the air like the French tried to do. But with Ribéry out there, he could run rings around you.
Another switch in the offing for Austria with Stefan Meyerhofer about to come on for what will be only his second national team appearance. He's a striker, and chances are he'll be replacing Janko.
Yeah, and strangely enough, the coach was telling him to keep it wide out there.
Pogatet's trying to do just that. Mad Dog, they call him in Middlesbrough. Falls here for Nelka. Now Govou trying to maintain the move. Garrick's clearing his line.
Well, he's taken that much time to give him the advice that he's given him. The game will be over.
It seems like there's a small novel being read on the near side.
It'd feel like saying, come on, coach, let me in, would you? Look at the clock.
Now Tulalat to Philip Mexes, who's had an evening to forget so far. William Gallas. Another long-range effort. And sprawling away to his right was Manninger to deny Benzema.
Well, there's a good shot. Oh, it just would have snuck in on the post. Little lawnmower job. Never came up off the grass. Manager across to cover it.
Inside the final 5 minutes in Vienna. Austria 3, France 1. As Group 7 gets underway in the most unlikely fashion in European World Cup qualification. Gorkov finding Diarra. Now Sidney Govou. Might have been France's best player tonight, you know, Sidney Govou. That's their goal. Don't know if you'd agree, Tommy, but Govou has certainly looked the man most likely to do the damage.
Those challenges could do you a lot of damage.
Now Evra. Chip into the area. The Austrian marking for the most part has been vice-like. Well, still no Stefan Meyerhofer. Still talking to Carol Bruckner on the near side.
Read the footnotes again.
Now Govou. Little pocket of space there. A shot which took an awkward deflection, but no one alive to the possibilities in a blue shirt. And Austria can relieve the pressure now, perhaps. Confidently stroking the ball around deep in their own half. Now perhaps the chance for Meyerhofer to get on. Made his debut against Italy.
Well, the saga started with about 6 minutes to go in the game, and he gets on with 2 minutes to go. He got some talking to.
And listen to the reception for Mark Janko. He might not be credited with the goal when it's all is said and done in this game, but he's made a huge contribution. Another one of the new call-ups for Carol Bruckner comes on. Stefan Meyerhofer has been in excellent form domestically for Rapid Vienna. 6 goals in 7 games. And now a cameo role at the end of what looks like is going to be a famous night for Austrian football. Now Gavou. France continuing to pick away at the seams of this Austrian defence, but really has been sewn shut ever since they restored their 2-goal advantage. Henry upended. Shana, who was a real fitness doubt heading into the weekend.
Well, bodies are being thrown around here all over the place.
And one final switch for the home side as Martin Harnik receives the adulation to be replaced by Joachim Standfest.
Harnik put in some shift. He put in some shift.
Free kick from deep lying position, just deflected behind for a French corner, so still a little bit of work to do yet for the Austrian defence in stoppage time. Was too deep. It's found its way through to Benzema. Evra. And a header away. Only found one taker, and that was Standfest. Going it alone. And eventually held in check by Toulalan. Anelka. Diarra wheeling and dealing. Lassana Diarra. Same end result with the quash, though, simply swallowed up on the Austrian defence. The job so nearly done.
Oh, he had to play it back out on the wing. He had a man wide open. But at this stage, you can afford mistakes as long as you're going up the field with them.
Well, this will leave the French with the recovery act to try and perform in Paris. They'll be playing Serbia next on Wednesday night. I don't think it's a stretch to suggest that anything less than a victory could spell the end for Raymond Domenech.
I would think so, yeah.
They then have to travel to Bucharest to take on Romania. The game following that. And an exceptionally surprising start to Group 7. Romania losing at home to Lithuania, and now this. This will be one of the biggest results in recent Austrian footballing history. It could get even better for them, but Mexes standing firm with a timely intervention. Henry. Nexa stayed forward. Nothing doing.
And Austria now have a game on Wednesday.
Yep, they will play Lithuania on Wednesday.
That could sort out a few things in this group.
So that will be the early battle of group leaders in Group 7. Surprising group leaders. Look at Joseph Hickersberger, the recently departed Austrian coach. The last time Austria beat France in any sort of game, Pelé had just helped Brazil win the World Cup in Mexico. 1970, 38 years it has been since we've last seen a scoreline like this. What a result for Austria, and what a disaster for France, Tommy.
Yeah, France, you know, very, very disappointing in Euro 2008. Okay, Austria were disappointing, but to a lesser extent, because we didn't expect as much of them as we expected of France. But France come out here flat. He's got a lot of work to do. This is not a good French side at the moment.
A French side in transition, perhaps, and caught napping by a very accomplished Austrian performance. They made the most of their opportunities, Tommy, from set pieces.
Yeah, and the fact that they got 3 goals from set pieces was incredible.
2 from the free kicks in the first half, and then the penalty added by Ivanschitz, perhaps Austria's man of the match. So a disastrous start for Les Bleus in World Cup qualification. Hope you enjoyed our coverage from Vienna. It was a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Tommy Smith and all our production crew, thanks so much for the pleasure of your company. We'll talk to you next time.